Welcome to this guest replay of the AMX CDC, here being driven by Matko, platooned up with Norikmet. Both are clanmates of mine, and he asked me if I wanted to do a replay of this match for him. So at the start he's moving to the center position to get some spots off, and I really like the CDC. I've played it on the test server. It's a really good tank in the hands of a competent player, because you've got a really good combination of speed, gun depression, and a really nice gun. I mean, with all the gold ammo flying around, armor is pretty much useless in this game anyway, so you're much better off having speed and gun depression than armor. And he's being spotted by this MT-25 at the start, so he can't actually do anything over here at the moment. So it's time to retreat back to a different position and see if we can get some shots off there. Now, the CDC itself is really nice and fast. It's similar to a lot of other French tanks in the sense of mobility, but not so much in the gun, because this one doesn't actually have an autoloader, but it does have the same 19mm that for instance the AMX 100 and Lorraine get as well, as a stock gun. Which is, it's a really good gun. I've noticed though that for some reason these French 90 and 100mm lose a lot of penetration over distance for some reason compared to other nations, or that might just be subjective, but that's how I always feel it. And he's able to put some really nice shots into this T-32, who is currently not looking his way, so just keep firing. And now he's looking, so time to retreat back a little, staying as low as possible. And kills the T-32, and the T-32 misses him. Or actually Norikmet killed the T-32, but they both hit at pretty much the same time. So some long range sniping here of targets barely in his view range. Somewhere in the future this won't be possible anymore, because Wargaming will be changing the red outline you can see on the minimap, which is the render square. It will be changed to a circle, so you will not actually have bigger visibility in the corners compared to the middle. So putting some nice shots into this AMX 90, which is spotting his team. He actually needs to die if they want to win. And luckily the Panther killed him. So the enemy is pushing really aggressive on one flank here, while his team is pushing on the other. So yeah, they're basically avoiding each other apart from in the middle, which is interesting. Now T-54E1 over there, he's got a really nice autoloader, something like 390 per shot and 4 shots in the clip, but that vehicle is very inaccurate at range. I've ground that one myself from stock, and I really didn't like the gun characteristics. It doesn't have enough penetration, I think, for a tier 9, and the accuracy is quite horrible, so yeah, I didn't quite like it. And in the meantime though, Matko is putting some really effective fire down, but this KV-4 is proving to be a lot tougher than expected, even from the side. And yeah, this is what I mean. The KV-2 has something like 200 side armor, and this gun is supposed to have 212 penetration. Yet over distance, it doesn't seem to actually be doing much. So that is what I mean with the French guns lose a lot of penetration over distance for some reason. Now it's time to focus on the guys on the right. The 110 and AMX 48 are pushing quite aggressively, and most of his team actually went back to base to defend. Already he's up to 3,100 damage, which is really nice, and not losing too much HP compared to the actual damage he's dishing out to all of these enemies. And he's making sure to fire at all targets as much as possible to prevent all of them from actually aggressively pushing the base, because if they did, they might actually lose this. Black Prince is still over there, but in cover, so this T69 is exposed. Put a nice shot in, and still spotted all the time. Unfortunately, Norikmet basically takes all the shells here for some reason, which is a little bit sad. And this T-34, he was actually last seen around the K3 area, and he moved all the way back to base, which is a good move for him. And he'll do something really surprising later on as well, which I found really funny and interesting. T-30 over there. Whenever you can kill a T-30 or at least put some damage into him, do so, because that thing is absolutely awesome. If you can go hold down. It has a really nice turret and good armor and a lovely gun. However though, last time I played it after the 9.6 accuracy nerfs, it is actually really troll now again. A little bit like the Russian BL-10 used to be. The accuracy doesn't actually work much anymore, it sort of goes everywhere now. And the black is quite tough, unless you actually shoot it in turret or manage to hit the driver's hatch, but Matco isn't taking the chance and just loading premium ammo to get rid of that guy, because he's actually the guy spotting at the moment, so he needs to die as soon as possible. T-34 is still in base, and Norikmet has been taken out, and he's making himself heard in the chat. But yeah, actually he's calling out the T-34 that he was base camping all the time, but he wasn't, because earlier on the minimap his marker was somewhere else, but Norik missed that, but fine. And at the moment it's, well, it's sort of even. I don't know what our E75 is doing over there. You'll see later on that he's still got full health, and being a tier 9 medium in a matchup like this, on full health, unless you're really good, is not a good sign. That means you weren't aggressive enough for your tank class, especially as a heavy. Yeah, he's still got 3 kills, but that doesn't say much. So, up to 5.6k damage already. T7 is pushing, they've got the T30 in front, and the T34 is still in base, shooting gold ammo, which is interesting on a no armor tank. But I guess he really wants to try and win this. 87 is killed. The T30 is actually doing most of the spotting here, I think. I don't know what his setup is, but I don't remember the T30 having that good a view range, to be honest. So he must have got quite good crews to be able to do that. At the moment, Matco is a little bit undecisive as to what to do. He can't actually engage that T30 from here because he's behind the hill, and that T34 is still in base. But he can't engage the T34 properly as well, because he's done a really nice job of getting himself behind a rock, only exposing a little bit of his front plate and turret. And here again the T30 spots Matco, which is really interesting, but the T34 doesn't seem to be there anymore. So that's interesting. Wonder where he went. So Matco is choosing a different approach and going around the flank, using the mobility of this tank to actually flank around the T30. I6 is pushing, and the E75 is not doing much useful things, still camping in base. he moved a grand total of something like 500 meters so far this match, I guess. So yeah, not really useful yet. So T30 over there, he's a one-shot for both the IS-6 and for Matco. But Matco has to be careful because he's a one-shot for their tanks as well. T30 is not really paying attention until it's too late and he gets taken out. But again, Matco gets spotted, and again the T34 doesn't fire. So that is very interesting. But then again, as you can see, the render square doesn't reach the T34, so he might not be able to actually see Matco even though he was spotted. E75 finally decides to move up with the team, which is good. And the IS-6 as well. He did a really nice job as well, pushing on the side and bouncing a lot of shots. So Matco is sticking to the ridge lines, not so much probably to shoot at the T34 as to spot him. And he's asking where is the T34, because he's no longer in the position he was last seen. But as you can see by the XVM colors, the T34 isn't actually a bad player. So what did he do? Matco's moving up again, IS-6 is going for the cap, E75 is following closely behind. And this panned out to be quite interesting as a replay, as well as a match. 6.3k damage so far. And really, if you look at this tank, it's just beautiful. You can see that he's got 2 gun marks on it as well, which means he's really enjoying this tank probably. I really like the lines of this design as well. I don't like the back of the turret so much with the 2 hatches. It sort of breaks the nice lines. But if you look at it like this, it looks a little bit like an alien from the Aliens films, with the large rear of the head and the elongated front. I'm probably going to get myself this tank when it's on discount. Pretty soon there will be a Wargaming anniversary, and there's a good chance that it will actually be on discount. So I'm just waiting until then to. I mean, I wouldn't mind forking out 7,500 gold, but I've already got a crap load of premium tanks, and I'm running a premium account, so I'm just waiting for the right moment to get this one. Here Matco is asking the IS-6 to reset the cap so he can go find the T-34, because this is quite an interesting situation. He's not in any of the positions you would expect him to be. So where did he actually go? And in a really kind gesture of random players, the IS-6 actually resets the cap instead of yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to call it selfish, but it's quite annoying if people still keep capping even though you can easily win the match in this situation. But he doesn't. He's really what do you call it, sportive player. And there we go. The T-34 turns out to be in their base, which quite surprised me. I didn't expect the T-34 to be that be that fast, but I imagine that the T-34 went around the A1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line and tried to flank Matco from behind, which is a really good job of him, but Matco already left, so then he probably just pushed on to their base. And here's a bit of a hairy situation. Luckily the E75 kills the T-34, and that is an ace tanker badge in the CDC, together with a high caliber and a Confederate, and 6.6k damage. So yeah, really like this replay. He made something like 207,000 credits with this match, which is simply amazing. And yeah, I really enjoyed this replay. So if you did as well, please rate it and possibly subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.